The South African Human Rights Commission has condemned the violence in KZN that has erupted in the aftermath of the arrest of former President Jacob Zuma earlier this week. His supporters took to the streets demanding his immediate release. And just a bit of a recap, over 20 trucks have been torched on the N3 highway, while many places of businesses have been looted. SAHRC Commissioner Chris Nissen joins me now to discuss this further. Chris, very good evening to you. I really appreciate you speaking to us this evening. So it's been quite a devastating end to the week, hasn't it? What have you seen from a human rights point of view?
First of all, as the South African Human Rights Commission, we believe people have got the right to protest, but we condemn the violence that we've seen and the unnecessary destruction of property. And we say that whilst we uphold the Constitutional Court's ruling, at the same time we ask people to respect that, but also to say while you have got the right to protest, you have got no right to destroy other people's property, and you have to act responsibly. And so we call upon all of our stakeholders and everybody in KwaZulu-Natal to please ensure that we do the right thing. Protest while you may within the bounds of the law and protocol of COVID-19, but you have got no right to destroy any property of anybody. And at the same time we say, please respect the rule of law.
But Chris, I mean, who's listening to that? A lot of people have got involved. The KZN spokesperson was telling us people who've got nothing to do with the cause are getting in and looting shops and businesses. And, I mean, they don't really care about the rule of law, allegedly, and staying away, keeping social distancing.
Well, that's why we are saying that, you know, when there's that kind of anarchy, that South African Police South African Police Services and the other law enforcement agencies will need to do what they have to do. But at the same time, we call upon the leadership, and especially all those stakeholders within society, to come forward and say, we can't allow this kind of anarchy to happen, and we can't allow this to destroy the image of our country. While we have due respect for the right to protest, with due respect for the constitutional ruling, at the same time we are saying that we need to ensure that we do not, because we're dissatisfied with a ruling, we now go and do the streets and do our damnness. And that's why, yes, we listen to and hear what you're saying, that nobody's listening, but there are political parties. And this is the time for everybody, including political parties, to come to the party and say, this is where we stand, this is how we're going to do this, and this is how we're going to engage those communities and those leaders and say, whilst we understand your frustration, and while we understand that the reason why you want to protest, we do not understand and will not understand the reason for you to go and destroy other people's property.
All right, and I'm sure you've been keeping an eye on the police and the way they've been behaving. What have you found?
Well, you know, I must say that, you know, in my engagement with South African Police Service throughout the country, I've learned a wonderful lesson from a brigadier here in the Overberg, Brigadier Helbron. And he always says there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. At times the situation is so volatile that if you do A, you may have B and C and D. But if you take a step back and say, how do we deal with the situation, and then get in there and say, we need to act and act decisively. So thus far, I would say that in terms of the whole past week, past 7 days, I must commend South African Police Services at a volatile situation, the point where everybody predicted mayhem and everything. The South African Police Services did the right thing. However, we cannot allow and call upon SAPS to do what is right and to apprehend those violators of other people's rights and destruction of property. And I must say that that's why, as the Human Rights Commission, we've been monitoring the situation, and we will engage in KZN all of those leaders